Teresa, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in again, which, oh my god, I never said that before. So I promised you guys in my last book haul that there'd be another one coming soon, and the time is here. This is it. It's another book haul. I've a lot of books to show you again, as was to be expected. I have 13 books in total to talk about today, but I think out of those 13, there are only 4 or 5 that are actually new books. All the others are from the marketplace, so they might also be new, but they're still reduced prices, and a lot of them are actually just secondhand copies, so I think that's not too bad. The first one I have is actually YA, which is something that's become kind of rare on my channel recently, which I like. But this is Alive by Scott Siegler. The only reason I got this is because it was pretty damn cheap, and it's just, the premise sounded cool, but I heard like really mixed reviews about it, so I wanted to check it out for myself. I believe that this book is about a teenage girl who wakes up in a coffin one day and she has no idea how she got there. Sounds pretty strange, and also the cover is really nice. And this was, by the way, one of those either a used copy or like a new book that I got like really reduced, and I really like it. It looks really cool. Then I actually have a bunch of library editions that I again ordered from Amazon Marketplace, so sometimes they will send you like library editions, which I don't actually mind. I know some people really hate them, but I don't care. They look kind of cool. The first one is this massive one. This is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, and this is one that I have ordered like months ago and it only now just arrived, but I think this came all the way from Illinois or something, so I get it, you know, I get why it took a little bit. It has this like foil cover and some stickers on the back that I think I can take some of them off. I haven't tried yet, but I think most of them should come off, and I actually don't really mind this cover at all, like the foil at all. It kind of looks cool, so I'm excited. I heard mixed things about this series, but I don't know, at the time of buying it, which again was like 2 months ago, I was really like interested in it, so I don't know. It's about like a witch that can tell when someone's lying and telling the truth. I don't know, that's why it's called Truth Witch. I'm smart. Next is a book I've probably heard on one person's channel and immediately ordered it because it sounded interesting, and that is Dragonfish by Vu Tran. I literally have not heard of this book since I bought it, and like since I heard of it for the first time and then bought it. Oh my god. This is again from a library. This is from New York this time. This is about a Vietnamese woman who left her husband, and then her husband is trying to track her down again or something. I don't know. And then while he's pursuing her, they kind of learn more about each other or something like that. Sounds really interesting. I don't know if this is a thriller or not. The last library edition is positively massive and is also the most battered of them all. This is finally The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. If you want to know the prequel story to how this finally came to my house, you need to watch my last haul, where I showed you guys the book that was sent to me instead of this and also talked about it. But this is in pretty bad condition. I think I bought this as like good, which, you know, it is good or acceptable, something like that. It's fine, like you can totally read everything. The pages aren't broken or anything, but the cover is definitely pretty worn. The like book pages themselves, they don't completely stick to the spine anymore. I'm not sure if you can. This is the awkwardest way to show you this, but if you can see, like here, it's a little broken off, so I don't know. But at the end of the day, including shipping, I paid like $3 for this book, or $3.50 or something, so I'm like fine with that, totally fine with that. I'm excited to jump into the series. I've heard many great things about it, but the thing is, I've been buying so many first books in like fantasy series recently that I genuinely don't know where to start, and I'm worried like anything I start and like I'll have to buy like all of the sequels, so it's a little bit of a problem. But maybe I can find the sequels to this in sort of a similar way. That would be great, because I like hardcovers, but I don't like to pay too much money for them. So yeah, this is a good compromise, I think. And the last really big book I have to show you today is The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. I saw this book. Who bought it? Was it Books by Emily Fox? It might have been Emily. I'm not sure anymore, but this is also a first book in a series. Of course it is, it always is. And again, this is a secondhand copy, so it's been a while since I ordered it, and again, I forgot like a lot of the plot, so let me refresh my memory just real quick. It's about a woman, I think, who wakes up with amnesia, and she has like a letter in her pocket from her previous self before she lost her memory, and it's about the Jackie is a centuries-old institution with a bureaucracy arcane enough to match the mind-boggling paranormal powers of its highest-ranking members. Fortunately, her previous self was a crack administrator. Administrator. With the help of Rook Thomas's notes, Mifanwi, I can't pronounce that name, takes up where she left off, tackling both the day-to-day threats to national security, dragons, cults, Belgians, and the psychic abilities that afford her a place in the court. And then stuff happens. I'm not sure. Ooh, dropping it almost. Let's see, is this pretty? Not really. I'm not sure. When I heard the synopsis for the first time, I was hooked, and I felt like I needed this book in my life. So, yeah, I will see what I think about this. Then on to some smaller books. The first two I have already read, and they are Detective Conan mangas. I sort of picked them up spur of the moment because I realized that all the way up to 90, the German ones were published, and these are 85 and 86, so I need to kind of catch up a little bit. The funny thing is, I bought 87 in Japan. Wait, I can actually show it to you. This is 87. This is volume 87, which I bought in Japan, thinking that this was the next one in the series that I hadn't bought yet, because I just forgotten how many actually I owned. And then I started it, and I was so confused. And at first I put it down to it being Japanese, and then I realized, like, no, genuinely, I haven't read it yet. Like, I don't, it's in the middle of a case. There was a cliffhanger, the previous one. It's in the middle of a case, and I just don't know who these people are and what they're doing. So that was a fun experience. I am actually reading this one currently, and it's so much easier to read, even though it's Japanese, just because I now have actually caught up on what has been happening. If you don't know, Detective Conan is like one of the best manga series ever. It's the only one I've ever really gotten into, and that has stuck with me throughout my life. Been reading these since I was like 8 or something, I don't know. But they're so good. They're about Shinichi Kudo, who is like a teenage detective, but he is given a poison by an evil organization that shrinks him back into an 8-year-old boy, and he has to sort of pretend to be a young boy, but also sneakily tries to solve cases on the side and sort of give other people credit, because the organization can't find out that he's actually not been killed by the poison, but instead shrunk. So it's really good. It has been going on for a tad too long, I must say. So I've heard though that it's slowly coming to an end in Japan, but I don't know how many volumes it's at, like the Japanese version is at, so I don't know. I'm excited to see how it ends. I've always said I'm worried that the author, Gosho Aoyama, might just die before the series finishes, which is something, it's like really bad thing to say, but honestly, it's been going on for like 20 years or more, and it's a little bit ridiculous at this point. So yeah, anyway, these are really good. The next thing I bought is actually non-fiction, and this is Wasted, Coming Back from an Addiction to Starvation by Maria Hornbacher. This is, or Hornbacher, I don't know. Why did I just like not use the German pronunciation? This is an eating disorder memoir, and it details the author's struggle with anorexia and bulimia, and I've heard this book talked about on some other channels recently. I don't know who it was. Was it Mercedes or Jen? Someone like that. I'm not entirely sure. But I've always been really interested somehow in eating disorders and like nutrition and eating things like abnormal eating in general. I don't know why, but it's been interesting to me. And I've read An Apple a Day by Emma Wolf, which is also an eating disorder memoir, and I'm really interested to get into this. This was actually published in the 90s, I think, so it was like the first of its kind in a way, and I'm interested to see how she experienced this horrible illness. Then I have a book I am positively stoked about. The minute it arrived, I was like, I want to read this now, but I should just pace myself, because this is gonna take time, and I need to invest that time in other things at this moment. But this is Das Bad by Yoko Tawada. So this is, if you look at it this way, it is a German book by a Japanese author. And you'd be thinking, like, how does that work? Well, Yoko Tawada is a Japanese author that has moved to Germany, and she has published like half her work in Japanese and half in German. And this is like the epitome of that, because on the opposite side is the book in Japanese. So there are things such as parallel texts, which you can buy, I think, for most languages, where like a text will be written in two languages, just like maybe one page would be English and the next one would be German, but the content would be the same and you could kind of just like read at the same time. Whereas with this book, it is literally two separate books. Obviously, German books, normally you read from this side, and Japanese, you read from this side. So they are technically juxtaposed, German and the Japanese, but the content isn't the same because it's like maybe in the point blank middle, I don't know. But basically you start this book from this side if you want to read it in Japanese, and from this side if you want to read it in German, and it sounds so cool. I am so obsessed with this concept just thinking about it. And also this book is just beautiful. It even comes with like pictures. I'm not sure if it is pictures or drawings. This definitely, I don't know, it's just like such cool pages. I just like, I'm so excited to read this. I'll definitely start with the Japanese first and then with the German to sort of make sure I got everything. As far as I can tell, this is a really strange story somehow about a woman who is kind of obsessed with her appearance, and then she goes on like these really strange adventures, and it sounds really like meta in a way, but I'm excited to read it. Side note, if there's any Japanese speakers out there, could you tell me what urokomochi means? Because I tried to Google it and I couldn't find it. There's like, the dictionary doesn't tell me anything. I'm confused. It doesn't mean bath, so that's all I know, which is what this means. So, I don't know. Next, I have a book that is also talked about a lot on BookTube, and I've heard like mixed things about it. At first, I thought it had only really positive reviews, but then some people unhauled it and said like it wasn't their thing, so I don't know. But this is The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey, and I think that this is some form of a zombie book. I don't know, it sounded really strange. Again, a lot of these books I ordered like months ago or like weeks ago, so it's hard to recall what they were about when I ordered them. And I think that there's actually sort of a sequel to this in a way, and I've heard really great things about this. As I said, mostly great things, so I'm excited to jump into this. I might wait for fall though, because if it's a zombie book and kind of creepy maybe, then that will be like a good place or like a good time to pick it up. Next is another non-fiction book, and this is So You've Been Publicly Shamed by Jon Ronson. I've been wanting to buy this book for a long time, and now I finally did. This is one of the very few new ones, and I kind of almost regret it because it's one of these like really stiff paperbacks, so inevitably the spine is gonna break probably, which I hate. Why can't everything be a floppy paperback? But anyway, this is about basically just being publicly shamed on the internet and like what that can do to a person, I think, and how that whole thing, just everything that entails basically. And I'm really interested because it's very pertinent, especially me being a YouTuber. I'm not like the most public figure, but still like I do put myself out there, and you know, there's always YouTube drama, YouTube scandals going on, so this is definitely very pertinent and sounds really interesting. So last month, as you know, I read The Girls by Emma Klein, and I wasn't super into the book itself, but I was really into the Charles Manson murder scene, like that sort of thing, like the cult vibes. Anyway, that really interested me because I hadn't known a lot about the Manson murders before going into it, so I wanted to pick up another book that kind of incorporated similar themes that I would maybe enjoy more overall because it had a different main character, you know. This is My Favorite Manson Girl by Alison Ominger, and can we just appreciate this beautiful cover? This is so summery, I love it, it looks so good. This is about a girl who is offered a job researching the murderous Manson Girls for a film. She reluctantly accepts, and because she needs the money, and soon enough, among the fake smiles and glitter-fueled parties, things turn from strange to dark to dangerous. This is not going to be the summer Anna had in mind. Nice. I'm excited, and I saw on Goodreads that some of my like favorite Goodreads review people like really love this book, so I'm excited to jump into it as well. And lastly, a book that I specifically ordered on Book Depository because this cover is not available on Amazon for me, and then they sent me like an awkward sized version of it, so I'm like a little pissed, but still I'm excited to read it. And this is Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. I really like these editions that have these like very minimalistic and simplistic things on them, like the Underground, for example, where it's like right here. Like for example, Underground did too have obviously like the same style of cover, but they don't fit. Not at all, because this is so much bigger. So I'm like a little annoyed. But a friend of mine wanted to do a little book club potentially, reading Kafka on Shore together. And honestly, I had no idea it was this huge. This book has over 600 pages, so this is like, wow. It's almost a square. That's what it feels like to me, at least. And it's a little dented here, which is not awesome. But, and here too, and this is another super stiff paperback, so I'm like really not happy with it, but the cover is correct at least, so I mean that's something, I guess. I'm excited to jump into this. I don't know much about it, but I do love Murakami's writing, so I will see if I like it. And that's it, you guys, for today's book haul. As always, too many books, but as I said, a lot of them were cheaper, and so I feel like it's okay. To quote Sophie Carlon, at least it's not drugs, right? Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Please leave a comment down below telling me if you've read any of these books and if you have any opinions on them that you would like to share. Also, let me know what was your favorite book that you recently read, and if you would recommend it to me, thank you so much. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!